Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 8 Pan-European destroyer Öland. And this is a ship that I find very fun. I've got it set up to give me a little bit better range on the guns. The torpedoes already reload really quickly and are very fast. So I wanted a little bit more gun power. So you can see that you can look on the minimap, and what looks like kind of a purple circle around my ship on the minimap is actually a red line which shows you my gun range, and a blue line that shows you my torpedo range. So they're almost the same. 12.1 kilometers on the guns, 12 kilometers on the torpedoes. I spawned south of the Bravo Cap, so I want to see what I can do here. Now there is a CV in the game, so I have to play somewhat cautiously, and while the AA on the Pan-European destroyers is better than most, it's not going to stop a CV from getting an attack on you, or even maybe two. CV's definitely headed this way. I don't want to get dropped by the Chkalov while I'm sitting broadside, so if he gets closer to me, I'm going to have to turn into him. Looks like he might run south of me, so I'm just going to continue this way. Yep, he's going to go after the Ohio. Now, I'm not in any big hurry to rush into the cap, because as soon as the cap circle starts to turn, the CV captain on the other team is going to know, well, there's an easy target. Especially in one of these Pan-European destroyers, which, like the French destroyer line, does not have smoke. So I'm going to play very conservatively here, looking for a channel to be able to throw torpedoes through, and I see lead sled out there. And I think I'm going to throw some torpedoes at this gap that's coming up, because I think he might cross through that gap. I can also see there's a Cleveland just north of my position. I do not want to get so close that the Cleveland radar can catch me. And if by chance it does, that's good. I want to make sure I'm in position to be able to run and get behind an island. Yeah, you can see lead sled on the minimap. You can see his ship is starting to turn. And if he heads southeast into that gap, maybe one of those torpedoes lands. That's my hope. Now, lead sled, he was an ICOP for a good while. And he's still a friend, no hard feelings or anything. But he was ready for something different. And so I have to say, it's just like if I was playing against an ICOP, there's nothing more satisfying than landing shells or torpedoes on an ICOP, or in this case, a former ICOP who's still a buddy. Torpedo should be just about where I expected him to be now. And there's a hit. Yeah, that felt pretty good. Pretty sure it was his ship. I'm trying to help out the Elbing here. The Elbing has terrible concealment. It's really not designed for the usual torpedo duties. So I have to be real careful here. I don't want to push straight across because that would have caught me if I had. Just take a quick look around. Angle to be able to turn away if I need to. And there's also a battleship. It's making a YOLO run toward the cap, and that's always going to be a really juicy target for enemy torpedo boats. So when you're playing a destroyer, especially if you're going to be contesting caps or anywhere near caps, always, always, always be sure of what is behind you. Because very often you'll have something just like that, where you have a battleship that says, I'm going to push in and YOLO into the cap. And every ship with torpedoes is going to throw torpedoes at him, and if you're anywhere near him, you may get caught. Now I'm briefly spotted by aircraft, so Kearsarge knows he needs to turn. He's going to be able to avoid my torpedoes. And here comes another volley of torpedoes toward the Lepanto. But he's encircled. I mean, he's got two destroyers, a couple of battleships, a couple of cruisers. I do manage to land one on Kearsarge, but no flooding. Now, there's not a whole lot of flooding percentage on any of these Pan-European destroyers. So there is a commander skill that will increase your chance of getting a flood, and if you like the play style and want to give these things a try, I really recommend taking that. If you were looking at the commander skills tree, I would go to the far right, take the first one on the far right, and the second column down, take the next one on the far right, third column down, take the next one on the far right, and then the bottom column, you want the one that is the third one from the left. Not all the way across. Actually, the second one from the right is the one you want. So the last one you want to take for your 10-point commander is concealment. And from there, it's just salt to taste. As expected, Lepanto gets sunk. We're down 2 ships. Bad guys are, well, now they're down 1. Our Kiev finishes off the gearing with guns. But increasing the flooding chance on these is a really good idea. And in fact, I've taken that, and he's still no floods. I think it gives you, 30% better chance for flooding. Lead sled was able to secure the cap. Cost him a little HP, but he did get the cap. And he's a good player. All right. As far as I'm concerned, Charlie's kind of a lost cause. Elbing, he didn't have any choice but to fall back there, really. Got our Cleveland heading that way. Our Ohio's out there on the 10 line. It's hardly ever a good idea. I'm hoping that they'll turn around, and in fact, I said something to the effect of, hey, just give them Charlie. Move to Bravo. Let's see what we can do there. Probably not going to do any damage, but I'm pretty safe from return fire. Kiev also finishes off the Carolina. So our Kiev is he's keeping us in this thing. Now these pan-European destroyers, these are not what I would consider carry boats. The torpedoes don't do enough damage. Now this could be potentially a really bad situation. Azuma can do massive damage with its HE. The radar goes down, and lead sled was putting guns on the Bismarck. So, yeah, he had AP loaded, and you can see he did some damage to the Bismarck. So I kind of got lucky there, but I also have to watch torpedoes. Now, I know that the Cleveland radar is currently on cooldown, so I can get a little closer. See if I can spot the Cleveland. Now look at the position of our Elbing, where he's pushing into. Our Cleveland that was over there on the 10 line, yeah, he never had a chance. Why he pushed in like that is beyond me, but he did, and it's over. Now we're down 5 ships. Bad guys are only down 3, but this is far from over, despite the fact that they have 3 caps and that they're only down 3 ships while we're down 5. Now I know a lot of players, and I admit I've had my games where this was also true, who would just kind of throw their hands in their air at this point and say, well, man, it's over. But it's not. If the team that we have left can play smart, we can still win this. And if you've watched my videos for any length of time over the last couple of years, you know I really truly believe that. So our Elbing pushed in and blapped the Cleveland. Elbing's AP, it hits really hard. It's kind of like a mini Hindenburg. You do not want to show broadside to the Elbing, and in fact, the Elbing AP might have just poked right through the front of that Cleveland. As you can see on the minimap there, it was angled reasonably well. Our Elbing did a great job, and now he's moving into the Bravo cap. Now it's debatable how long he's going to be able to stay there. I was hoping to see him positioned to be able to run immediately to the south side of the, from the south side of the cap on the other side of the island that's south of his position, because I know there are 2 DDs that are probably running from Charlie into Bravo, and they could catch him. But he stopped behind that island. Maybe he had to smoke up there in order to avoid the aircraft. That's a bad spot for him to stop. Now I threw torpedoes out on this Colombo, just hoping to finish him off before our Yamato gets sunk. You can see the enemy Druid is facing off with our Kiev and Yamato, and the 7 Provincian is doing what he can. That ship, it's fun to play. I enjoy mine, but it's not what I would call particularly powerful. Those airstrikes, if they hit, can do a lot of damage, but the guns, kind of meh. Kiev finishes off the Druid. That's his 3rd ship sunk. Absolutely phenomenal. So glad he was on our team. And I'm really hoping Yamato's going to land some big shells on the Provincian here. But the 7 Provincian is now He's getting broadside shots if he pushes forward anymore from the Bismarck, and he does in fact get blapped by the Yamato. And this game suddenly has an entirely different complexion. Granted, our Elbing was almost dead and got blapped by the lead sled in the Azuma. Azuma's guns are nasty. And it was as I kind of expected. The DDs, the red DDs pushed in. They caught him there, and there just wasn't anywhere for him to go. Now, I know the aircraft are looking for me right now, but I'm squaring off with the Kagero here, and I definitely outgun the Kagero, and I've got a heal, and he doesn't. And I know that the Fantasque is behind the island, so I'm going to try and do what damage I can as he smokes up. I do get a fire. I'm detected, so I'm going to come back around, and I'm going to try and limit the visibility of the La Fantasque by using the smoke as much as I can. You can see I'm swinging around here to port, swinging my guns around, and he spots me, but he's turning away because he doesn't want to get shot by the Ohio. And he's going to be back behind that smoke in a second. I'm throwing torps out. Maybe I catch him, but my goal really here is to catch the Kagero. Use the smoke. I can fire without being seen, just doing a little chip damage. Not a lot, but every little bit counts. And although these torpedoes don't do a lot of damage, Kagero doesn't have a lot of HP, even fully healthy. And this Kagero has about, 80% of his HP, so a torpedo hit might do the job. Nope, he stuck around. I'm going to have to do this with guns. I'm going to continue forward here. I'm going to be able to finish him off and make use of this smoke again. Aircraft are on the way. I'm going to get into the smoke as quickly as I can. And yeah, the bad guys have a huge lead. I've got to keep moving forward to avoid these torps. Bad guys have a huge lead, but again, not over yet. La Fantasque, he didn't want any part of what was happening here. He continued to run. Now, if he had just parked there and kept me under his guns, this might have had a whole different ending. I think he counted on the CV being able to finish me off here. I was able to angle against the skip bombs, and our Bismarck finishes him off. Now I'm going to stop here, knowing full well that the CV is going to be focusing me, and I don't have any way to hide. I can't push forward with Azuma sitting right where he's at right now, but he's moving forward, and I'm going to count on him not being able to get guns on me through these trees. He's kind of behind the trees right now. Yeah, that was a big shot from the CV. There's no way I'm going to survive this. I've just got to finish the Yamato. Keep moving forward. Azuma doesn't have a shot. Yeah, there's no way I survive this. Yamato's guns might not get me, but the CV certainly will. You can see I landed quite a few torpedoes on the Yamato. He's flooding, and that's it for me. I'm burning, and this is exciting, but my time in the game is coming to an abrupt end here in a second. This CV is just all over me. I do manage to take out the Yamato, and that leaves our team with 4 ships and the bad guys with only 2. Granted, they have a huge points lead, but we're going to be able to secure the Bravo cap. They don't have anyone near the Alpha cap, and this game can still be turned around. Now, as I recall, I recommended to the CV that he run for Charlie cap. He might not be able to flip it, but if he gets to it, he might be able to slow their points. Meanwhile, our Kiev and Bismarck are working to secure the Bravo cap. And you can see Bismarck is heading north, and that's going to allow him potentially to get guns on the enemy CV that our Kiev is just pummeling right now. So I managed to get 3 kills before it was over, despite the fact I didn't do a lot of damage. Shot down 30 aircraft, landed 10 torpedoes, 22 shots on target with the guns, 2 fires, 2 incapacitations, and a flood. I'll take it. And I'm feeling pretty good about our chances right now. One thing I know about Lead Sled, and I don't mean this to be disparaging in any way, is that when the chips are down, he is not afraid to rush in. And I think he's seen an opportunity here to catch the CV, and he's going for it. And I commented along those lines that I expected him to push forward toward the CV in the game. So everybody was ready as he crossed through that gap, and you see he took massive damage. Kiev continues to smack the enemy CV, which secured the Bravo cap. It's still down 476 points right now, something like that. Yeah. But 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, and our Yamato is going to be in position to get the Azuma's broadside. Bismarck finishes off their CV, and despite the fact that we're down 350 points or so right now, I think this is a win. Lead Sled's going to do all he can, but he's going to have Bismarck and Yamato guns aimed his way as he comes south of that island. You can see he's starting to turn out in hope of avoiding those shells while he smashes our CV, but he's going to come a little too far south. And the guns are going to get him. Well, CV is going to get him. Anyway, this was a super fun game to play. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't tried this line, I really recommend it. They are super fun to play, and I'll see you next time.